So a couple of weeks ago, I was at this county fair. It was kind of like a big deal or something, like, I don't know, it's 250th anniversary of this thing occurring. Done 250 of those things, man. And one of my friends invited me, but it wasn't exactly, how shall I say, my cup of tea? Coffee? In fact, if you want my honest opinion, it was more like the physical manifestation of every possible conceivable childhood nightmare ever, all together in one place. For your entertainment. It's busy, it's crowded, there's a bunch of scary old men everywhere, and not to mention that I almost got run over by a parade, but that was before all the fun started. Now these are my feelings, so I'll just share with you my experiences. So I'm at the fair with a fun group of people, and I sheer off from the crowd to spend some time with one of my girlfriends. I should clarify, when I say girlfriends, I mean like in the female context of a friend who is in fact a girl. Now, not a romantic dating girlfriend thing. I don't have multiple girlfriends. I don't have any girlfriends, actually. I am very single. Single as a peach. Oh, just face it, Nick, you're alone and afraid. So alone. So anyway, we're walking by one of those like carnival type games where you have to throw the balloons, or the balloons. You have to throw the darts at the balloons, and if you hit a balloon, you know, you win or whatever. And you know, at this point, I've already spent quite a bit of money, and I had a bit of a budget this particular day. But as we're walking by, the one dude looks at us, and you know, he starts egging me on and trying to get me to spend money on his game and try to win a prize. Haha. And I'm just not having it, and neither is my friend Anya. She's just like, no, let's move on. And finally, as we start to walk away, he calls out with his voice, like he's just, you know, swallowed his last pack of cigarettes or something, and he says to us, to her,
Hey, where'd you get this guy? Losersville?
I'm sorry, Losersville? What? I wanted to have fun. I don't want to be yelled at and called names. Come on.
He won't even spend $15 for his girlfriend to win a prize.
If I wanted to be made fun of, I would have stayed in high school. Okay?
Don't you want a prize? You should win a prize for your girlfriend.
But eventually we move on from the fair games and we meet up back with our friends and we're walking by this exhibit, I'm gonna call it. There's a gentleman there and there's 3 large cages that are kind of like hidden, you know, they got like curtains around them and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a guy standing there, he's like, come on, come on and see the world's largest rat, the world's oldest reptile, and not to mention the world's smallest horse. Come on, up right here we go. So of course I walk up, you know, the curiosity drew me in. I wanted to see these animals, these creatures. And so they were sponsoring it with a special deal, 50 cents to view one or $2 to see all 3. So of course I went with the deal. Wait. No, that can't be right. That must be the wrong numbers. Did they just... No. Okay, so I paid $2 to see all 3. What a deal. And it was actually kind of cool. I went to see the world's smallest horse. It was this little stubby pony, just stubs for hands. For hooves. Stubs for hooves. You know, it's just this little dinky tiny horse. I mean, like Don Quixote kind of donkey, but even small, like Don Quixote's baby, you know? And then the world's oldest reptile was actually a pretty monstrous alligator. I don't even know if it was alive. It might have been fake. I don't know. It didn't move. But it was still cool to see. And they had this massive lock on it. It was just this giant cage. Shoo! Don't let the monster out, you know? And then the world's largest rat. I can't even explain what it was. I don't know. There was this massive ball of fur and fluff and had these little tiny like hairs poking out of random places that didn't make sense. It didn't even look real, but it was moving. It was alive. Although it was kind of really big and had this hard, large body. It's just like... It was kind of like disturbing, actually, a little bit. However, I paid the money to see them. And of course, you know, they say curiosity killed the cat. But satisfaction brought it back. So as we continue our adventure through the fair, we eventually decide that we need to get some food. So we get this little thing of fries to share amongst all of us. And it just so happens to be right directly beneath the world's most terrifying joyride. It was this contraption made of metal, and it was like they had these little cages attached to a spinning, I don't know, monstrosity. Metal and junk and all sorts of things combined together, gears grinding. It was kind of the most terrifying ride I've ever seen in my life.
This is what nightmares are made of.
And I think mostly it wasn't so much the ride itself.
This is where childhood dreams come to die.
As much as the fact that this was constructed in a single solitary day, maybe even a couple hours. And that's kind of disturbing. It's a little bit terrifying. I mean, if you go to an amusement park and you got one of those roller coasters there, you know that thing they spent many, many hours making sure it was structurally sound, they've tested it, it's regulated. But in this particular case, at a fair, at a traveling carnival, if you will, this ride was built from maybe professionals, and who knows what kind of metal it's actually made. It might be recycled aluminum, I don't know. There could be old Pepsi cans in that thing, man. You don't know. What is it made out of? I wouldn't feel safe. And I would not trust a parent who allows their child to go up in that thing, man. So after the games, the gimmicks, and the death-defying rides, we finished our evening viewing some wildlife. We saw some goats, I made some jokes, and yeah, witnessed a cow give birth. That was cool. Pleasant. Needless to say, this was not my ideal way of spending a Sunday afternoon relaxing, but I would classify it as an interesting cultural experience. More importantly, I did make a very profound realization during this whole adventure. If you work at a carnival, you are called a carny. So, if you work at a fair, you're called a... what would that be? I'm not even gonna say it. If you don't get it, I'm sorry. I feel sad for you. But more seriously, despite it being not exactly what I would have wanted to do, or necessarily it wasn't my first choice, I realized that even a negative experience can be a positive experience if you're with the right people. And Kevin, thank you for inviting me, because it really was a good time. I had a lot of fun. You're the most amazing friend I think I've ever had. And you know, if you want to go again next year, I might hesitate. But I'll go. Because, after all, it wasn't all bad. No. Certainly not. So thanks again for watching. This has been a Lunar Landing in Mind, and I will see you all next time.
Bucket of fries, enough for the whole family, which is that big.